minute. Who are you?
For whatever reason, Hollywood really loves to recast people, even if it doesn't make any sense. Marvel did it when they swapped out Terrence Howard for Don Cheadle in Iron Man 2, and they just kind of hoped you wouldn't think about it too hard.
Next time, baby.
Or other times, it'll be a really successful franchise, but the actor moves on to do other projects, so they keep it going and just get somebody who's way cheaper to fill the role. And sometimes, it's even the main character just not wanting to come back. But for whatever reason, the studio still wants to continue the franchise, and when that happens, you get movies like XXX State of the Union. XXX was made kinda famous by Vin Diesel in the early 2000s, because the first one was about Xander Cage, a guy who was sorta good at some sports, so they gave him a gun and told him to go save the world, basically. Vin stated in a 2014 interview that the reason he didn't come back for the second installment was because they switched writers and the script just didn't feel right for him. So, enter one O'Shea Jackson Sr., aka Ice fucking Cube, to fill the role. So, without further ado, let's get into it. The movie opens on some bad guys infiltrating a secret NSA base where Samuel Jackson's character, Gibbons, is the leader. He fights off some of the bad guys, but they end up breaking through his door, so he says fuck it and leaves everyone else behind while he escapes in his car. So, original XXX, aka Vin Diesel, is dead. Spoiler alert, he's not actually dead. He's skiing down mountains in Brazil and having sex with an insane amount of women or something. I'm not really sure. It's all a Vin Diesel vanity project in my opinion. Now, Gibbons wants someone who's more dangerous to fill the role as Agent XXX. Which brings us to Darius Stone, played by Ice Cube, who I kinda love. Ice Cube's a pretty funny dude.
Why is Ice Cube always mad in movies? Laugh out loud. Why you think? And all that laughing you doing, I'm gonna shut all that down. You laughing out loud on me.
The Green Goblin himself briefs the president on what happened in the base, so the president tells everyone that his new military bill is now even more critical. And the Green Goblin, aka Willem Dafoe, is playing a guy named Deckard, the Secretary of Defense. Gibbons goes to visit Darius in Navy prison and warn him that he's in danger because whoever attacked Gibbons is after everyone from the old unit that Gibbons and Darius used to be a part of. He gives him a cryptic message about how to escape, so the next day, Darius just punches his way out of the prison and does a little bit of parkour so Gibbons can pick him up in a helicopter. Darius takes Gibbons and Gibbons' weird sidekick Shavers to go see... Hold up. Is that fucking Exhibit? What is Pimp My Ride doing in this movie? I mean, this is like the peak time for this show, and he's even running a chop shop in this movie. That's kind of funny. It's like a time capsule for the early 2000s and weird reality shows. Exhibit tells Darius where he can find his old love interest Lo, who now runs a high-end mechanic garage. It also turns out that Gibbons got his burn scar during a botched mission that he and Darius were on, and that's the mission that Darius took the fall on, landing him in military jail in the first place. Darius goes on a stealth mission to get the hard drives from the NSA base that was attacked in the beginning, and his idea of stealth is using a rocket launcher as a distraction to get all the guards out of the base so he can sneak inside before they get back. Darius escapes after a quick jog through the woods, blowing up some boats, and escaping in a cool guy fashion. And by cool guy fashion, I mean jumping his boat up onto a bridge, blowing up a cop car, and walking by the explosion without looking at it. Gibbons goes to his house, where after a quick showdown with Deckard and his goon, they blow up his home, leaving everyone to believe that Gibbons is dead. And at Gibbons' funeral, we also get the classic sitting in a car and spying on a funeral bit. Darius follows a lady named Charlie, who is a friend of Gibbons, so they team up to bring Deckard down and stop his military crimes. He goes undercover at a banquet to eavesdrop on Deckard, talking to another general about his upcoming scheme, and it all kicks off in just 3 days. Unfortunately, he's not super great at blending in and immediately gets spotted, but he is really good at running away, so he escapes pretty easily with Charlie's help. Charlie brings him back to her mansion, where she sets him up to take the fall for the general's murder that Deckard was talking to after she shoots him in the head and stages it to look like Darius did it. Generic NSA agent guy Steele chats with Darius in a conversation that goes nowhere until the police eventually raid the house. Darius escapes and makes national news in the process for murdering the general, and he also figures out that all the troops that are coming for the funeral for the general are actually coming to be a part of Deckard's evil plot. So sidekick Shavers hacks into the government because he's the tech guy, while romance stuff happens with Darius and Lo. It leads them to an aircraft carrier, so Darius climbs aboard to steal their dirt.
Look what I got. I got a jar of dirt. I got a jar of dirt.
Sorry, I mean spy on the giant military operation, which is, spoiler alert, to storm the Capitol building. Oof. Oh, and on the ship, in the cells, are Gibbons and the rest of the old unit that everyone definitely thought were dead. Darius knocks out Charlie instead of killing her, stealing the plans in the process, before he then hijacks an armored vehicle that's on the aircraft carrier. The bad guys attempt to get him, but in the end they just blow up a bunch of their own stuff until they eventually take the fight topside. And in a pretty cool idea for a kill, Darius launches his armored vehicle at a tank by using the aircraft cable system on the carrier. If the CGI wasn't so incredibly 2005, I would probably love this kill even more. Meanwhile, the president scolds Deckard for not supporting his military bill that he believes will help turn enemies into allies. So, Darius, Steele, Shavers, Lo, and even Exhibit all team up to kick off the third act and stop Willem Dafoe. Our ragtag team hijack a semi-truck that was supposed to be carrying cheese, but was in fact carrying a ton of weapons instead. And all the bad soldiers barricade up around the Capitol building, while the good guys use secret streets and alleyways to get past them all, apparently. Well, that's what they said they were gonna do. But ultimately, they just kind of smash their way past all the dumb army guys. This all leads to Exhibit hijacking a tank and using it against the army guys. So when Deckard kicks off his plan and starts to take out the president, he's interrupted by the tank and Exhibit saying hello. More shooting kicks off, leading to Darius and Steele rescuing Gibbons and the others. And Gibbons finally kills Charlie, and he radios Deckard in order to brag about it. But Deckard's backup plan is to take the president to the bullet train that apparently just exists under the Capitol building. So Darius takes Lo's super fast car to chase after the train, and I don't think she's gonna get that car back. It's very bold that this movie thinks it can pull off both helicopter CGI, car on train tracks CGI, and train CGI all at the same time. Again, this just looks like a cutscene from a PlayStation 2 video game, but honestly, I'm kinda here for it. Before Darius can save the president, he first has to have a quick fist fight in the kitchen until he blows the guy up and out of the train. And at the same time, Steele ziplines down from the helicopter to pick up the president.
I'm your Uber driver. Get in.
I didn't order an Uber.
We've got one now.
Then Darius jumps out of the train while Gibbons shoots a rocket at it, blowing up Deckard, putting an end to all his evil plans. Now, I'm no scientist, but I do know that hitting water from extremely high heights would be like hitting concrete. So at this point, you might be asking yourself, how does Darius survive? Well, like this. Yeah, that seems logical to me. What am I saying? None of this movie is logical. In good political fashion, Deckard still gets full military honors and credit for trying to save the president. And yeah, the movie ends with a tease for a third movie that we would have to wait 12 years before we got to see. First off, this movie was written by Simon Kinberg, famous for writing the bad X-Men movies and gifting us with this wonderful line.
Don't you know who I am? I'm the Juggernaut, bitch!
He also wrote some of the Fan Four Stick movie that I'll be talking about in July when the new Fantastic Four comes out, so I'm gonna hold all my thoughts on him until that one. Also, XXX State of the Union is the reason I have a core memory from middle school. This movie had just come out, and this kid came up to me and was trying to convince me that you could survive a fall from great heights into water by using a grenade launcher to break the fall. So at the very least, this movie inspired some 6th grader to try his darndest to convince me that this movie was science. But seriously, for as dumb as that idea is, it's also kinda cool. In a movie where you're supposed to turn your brain off, I can appreciate the stupidity in this execution. I mean, the plot of XXX State of the Union is really stupid when you think about it. Willem Dafoe is going to frame an American group of soldiers for killing the president, which will help him get more troops in other countries. This is all to stop the current president from passing a bill that would cut military spending and focus more on humanitarian aid. So, if Americans kill an American president, how is that going to help you justify increasing a military presence in countries that had nothing to do with it? I'm kidding. I know the answer. The answer is, it's America, and they invade wherever and whenever they want. But seriously, on the whole, the plot of framing army people is just silly. Not as silly as Darius Stone being a do-it-all, know-it-all, be-all special agent. His only qualifications are his few years of being a Navy SEAL lieutenant under Gibbons before he was framed and sent to jail. So, unless he read a ton of books about how to be a great spy, I don't buy his ability to just do everything perfectly. Like jumping a boat off a ramp into a police car, walking away, and being able to drive no problem. Like, where was that training when I was in the Marine Corps? I wish I had learned how to do that. That's a really cool fucking skill to have. And when Darius escapes the military prison, none of the guards with guns or tasers put any effort into stopping him. Even the sniper has a clear shot and just decides, nah, I won't shoot this escaping prisoner. You know, the whole reason I'm here holding this rifle and my job exists to stop escaping prisoners. Though it might sound like I'm nitpicking, these are actually the things that kind of make me love this era of action movies. They all had this touch of stupidity even while they tried to take themselves seriously, and there's just something about it. Like how when Darius says that the codename XXX sounds like a porn star's name. And I love this moment when they hijack the truck.
Hi, I'm Agent Shavers. We'll be commandeering your truck today.
Man, we can't let nobody know a white guy hijacked us. We'll say it was 75 black guys.
Or the dumb line when Darius says, there's no such thing as dead ends, as he drives through a wall. And I also wonder what those bullet train employees do all day, or if they've ever once had to use the train for anything. But I do think that Ice Cube is what makes this movie special for me. There's something about that man's presence on screen that keeps me locked in. And he gave me one of my favorite new actors, O'Shea Jackson Jr., who is equally funny and equally talented. I mean, he played his dad in Straight Outta Compton, an insanely good movie with incredible performances all around. Ice Cube as an action star is probably when I like him best. I mean, Friday is great, and Barbershop is a staple, but Ghost of Mars? Nah, that's just pure chaos and dumb fun, and will always be one of my favorite Ice Cube movies. Overall, XXX State of the Union is a great movie to shut your brain off and enjoy the fun bad time that it offers, which places it in so bad, it's good. Hey everyone, if you enjoyed this, don't forget to check out my video on Space Jam 2, a not so great movie. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below what movie you'd like to see me cover in the future.